Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 6 of Sunday Service with me, your host, Aaron Chandler, your usual host for all of our listeners. I say every week. I say, how was your guys' week? You guys, right? As if anyone's fucking listening. Like if one person was tuning into this fucking show, we'd be laughing, right? I hope you guys. I hope that when I say you guys, I don't mean people. I just mean the void, right? Maybe like God is listening, maybe the angels, maybe my ancestors looking down on me, watching me do this shit instead of making some productive use of my time. That's what I'm kind of referring to. I hope those guys, by which I mean you guys, are enjoying the show so far. I'm sure in years to come, there'll be plenty of people getting enjoyment out of these early episodes of Sunday Service. I think that'll happen, right? Whether it be loyal fans of the show or whether it be journalists looking for a scoop of me saying something absolutely horrific. And let me tell you, the Washington Post, let me tell you, the Irish Examiner, let me tell you, the Daily Mail, right? If you were waiting for that, today's the day you're going to get it. Today is the day where we go full mask off on all of my opinions about various things, I think. Or maybe we won't. I haven't really actually made any outline for this episode. I haven't written down any topics. I haven't made any plan of what I'm going to say. I'm just going to completely raw dog it. So whatever comes out of my mouth, we'll see. You guys know just as well as I do. Right? And maybe this is your second time watching this episode, because maybe this turned out to be the best episode of the podcast ever, and I never hit these peaks again before I even made it to episode 10. That could be true. That could be false. Probably the second one. How was your week? I don't give a fuck. All right. Mine was fucking awful. Right. So yeah, you had the episode yesterday on Wednesday. I mean, this is going to come out on Sunday like it's supposed to, but the episode. So what happened with the episode on Wednesday was I didn't record the one on Sunday because the time I usually record, which is on Thursday nights or Friday nights, I was busy both of those nights, right? And then my intention, right? So like, okay, big picture, right? I'm going to spin a web here. I'm going to spin a web of a story, and I'm going to kind of incorporate you guys into it long term. But I think we need to hit on the big picture theme of the story. I don't want this to be a suspenseful kind of twist thing. Headline, my week was an absolute fucking joke. It was atrociously bad. Like, I really just made a mockery of the human condition this week. Some things did go well for me. I wouldn't say it was all bad, but Jesus, it was nowhere near what it could have been, right? Like in the sense of hedonistic enjoyment, was it a good week? Fucking phenomenal. I got a lot of like just short-term impulsive gains this week. That was brilliant. In the sense of, living a worthy life in the eyes of God. Womp womp. Things didn't go great there. So yeah, it all started right last Thursday. When I went to I did a comedy gig up in Mullingar, and so obviously, like, that's a 3-hour drive. I guess that narrowed down my location. Doesn't matter. Look, Mullingar is a place in County Westmeath, which is one of the irrelevant counties. And there's a comedy gig on up there. And some friends of mine asked me to do it, and I knew it would be bad, but I said yes. And do I regret going? Not really. It was fine. Was it the best show I've ever done? No. But was it the worst? No, not that either. It was fine. Like the guys who ran the show, they made me feel very welcome. They were very kind, And now that I've said all the things that I have to say for political reasons and gotten those out of the way, let's get to the nitty gritty, right? So what was going to happen there is the show was starting at 9. So it's about a 3-hour drive. We were leaving Cork around 5, just to get it safe for us, So because I don't drive, I had to be in the city for like 4:30 for like, my buddy to pick me up, right? And what was the plan initially was I'd record the last episode, the Wednesday episode that was supposed to come out on Sunday. I was going to record that last Thursday, right? All right. So here's like where the plan goes. I was going to wake up early in the morning, record the episode, get all the the nits and bits in place, And, by the time I was in Mullingar, it would be all rendered. It would be ready to publish. It would come out on the Sunday morning. I wouldn't even have to fucking think about it. Bada bing, bada boom. Right? Long story short, I wake up at noon. Which, that happened because I don't know why that happened, actually. So here's what's been happening with me lately, right? Is I've been going to sleep at appropriate times, and then I've been waking up at noon, which means I've been getting like 11 plus hours of sleep. And now, what you're going to immediately do the math on there is you're going to be like, he's saying he's waking up at appropriate times, he's waking up at noon, he's waking up 11 hours before, he's going to bed at 1 in the morning. Obviously not great, but, in theory, right, you go to bed at 1 in the morning, you get your 8, 9, maybe even 9 hours sleep if you're treating yourself, and you're waking up at like 9 a.m., 10 a.m., right? That's not what's happening to me. I'm going to sleep at 1 and I'm getting like 11 hours sleep, and that's bad. And I don't know why that's happening, because I keep waking up at the right time. I keep waking up at like, 8 or 9, maybe even 10 o'clock. And then I'll just go, let me rest my eyes for 5 more minutes, and then I've slept another 2 hours. And that's obviously bad for a lot of reasons. 1, oversleeping is very bad for your long-term health. 2, I'm wasting time. And 3, I feel like a piece of shit, because now by the time I do actually get up and go out the day, I'm already starting off on a bad foot. So none of that is basically ideal. And look, I can afford to wake up usually like at like 9 or 10, because my job is in the evening. So I'm usually set there, but like waking up at noon, fucking bit of a stretch. So like, it's like, all right, and I've been doing that since, right? That was like the first day. That wasn't the first day of my sleep schedule being off, because usually I'll do that a couple times a week. Sometimes I'll go to bed at 1 a.m. and I'll get up at the 10, and then sometimes I won't get up until the noon, and then it's a bit of a flipping of a coin situation, because I have no will. But the thing about me that I've realized, one of my central flaws, is that I don't have free will. Because I think the things I wanted to do in my brain, and then my body doesn't do them. Like, I don't know how to make my body do the things that I wanted to do in my head. I think I missed that part of being a human. Like, no one ever showed me how to do that. No one ever taught me. I have no discipline. I have no willpower. Like, I would not be able to become a Green Lantern under any circumstances, right? That's a little Green Lantern reference there for people. Am I a fucking dork? Yeah. But only the Ryan Reynolds one, I haven't read the comics. I've only seen the Ryan Reynolds one, and I thought it was actually fine. It's a movie that gets insulted a lot. It better than Captain America 4, or maybe not. I don't know. I've never seen it, but like I imagine they're somewhere along the same levels of enjoyment. Where I bet if you like Captain America 4, you probably like Green Lantern, and I bet the only reason the nerds say they don't like it is because culturally they've been told not to. And that's fine, because there's plenty of things I believe because culture has told me to believe them, like killing is wrong and shit like that. So I've no objections to people believing things because the world around them told them that that's the right thing to do. So if you don't like Green Lantern and you're doing it because people told you that that's what you should be doing, that's fine. So what's interesting is I'm not really looking at the camera. I keep looking down, and I feel like that's probably bad. But again, I mentioned this last week, the sound wavy things on the computer screen are very interesting. So I woke up at like 9 o'clock that morning, Thursday. I was like, I'll get 5 more minutes. So it was like 8:50. It was like 8:52, and I was like, I'm getting those 8 extra minutes of sleep, right? Because the alarm was set for 9, and I woke up naturally at 8:52, and I was like, I'm getting the extra 8 minutes of sleep. I go to sleep again, right? I rest my head again. The 8 minutes pass, the alarm's going off. I'm like, I haven't gotten any sleep. So I mute the alarm, and then I'll just go back to sleep for 8 minutes. I'm sure my body will wake me up, even though it has never done that ever once on its own. But I was willing to play the game. Then I wake up and it's noon, and it's like, okay, now it's like I gotta be in the city at 4:30. It's gonna take me like 40 minutes to get there because of a bus, and then before that I have to like shower and get dressed and make food and all of those things that you kind of have to do to be alive, right? And because I was going to be, in a car with people for 3 hours, I felt obligated to do those things. Because sometimes you'd be like, I'm in a fairly open area environment. I'll get away with smelling like crap. Maybe there probably won't be anyone there that I, have mating interests in. I'll probably get away with just being in like a sloppy condition. And not to say that I had mating interest in the two men I was in this car with, because I certainly don't. But it's more, a gesture of politeness, right? I don't want to smell like shit. And like maybe I'll meet baddies in Mullingar, and did I? Sure. But that's neither here nor there, right? At the end of the day. So I wake up, I make my breakfast, and I make a nice breakfast. I'm not gonna disrespect my breakfast making rituals just because I decided to be a lazy prick who can't get his shit together. So I made my nice bowl of porridge. Here's how you make a good bowl of porridge, right? You get yourself half a cup of porridge. You throw it into your stainless steel pan. You get a cup and a half of water. 3-to-1 ratio there. You pour that over the porridge, right? You grind a little sea salt in there, maybe some Himalayan salt if you're a fucking cunt. That was mean. I just wanted to say a bad word there because I realized, we were far enough into the podcast that I get away with it, and the censors wouldn't pick up on that. What I meant was a pretentious douchebag. If you're a pretentious douchebag, you can use Himalayan salt, which I am, because I used Himalayan salt on this occasion, because I happen to know that because last week, my sister, who I live with, bought a bottle of Himalayan salt, and I saw it on the counter, and I was like, obviously I'm going to use that because, it's novel, right? So, you pinch a nice little dose of Himalayan salt into that, and then, you bring the heat up on the stove, right? And like, people say, what heat do you bring up to high, medium, low? I don't know what the fuck that means. Mine just has numbers. It has numbers 1 to 6. I put it on 5, right? Because I want the board to start boiling, but I don't want to start boiling too fast because I feel like that would be bad, even though I don't know if it will be or not, right? So let's call that medium high. You put it up on medium high, you get it going. It's working well, right? You wait for it to start bubbling up a bit. You wait for the water start boiling. The second the water starts boiling, you cut that heat down to 1. You cut it down to the lowest setting just to maintain a simmer, right? That's what you want to do. And then you get a wooden stick and you just start stirring that shit. And you stir for 12 minutes. And during that time, you fucking look at your Instagram on your phone. You look at the storylines of the day. I don't have Twitter anymore. I uninstalled that to make myself more productive. Didn't work. Now just go on Instagram all day instead. So would have to uninstall all social media in order to actually become productive. And even then, I'm not convinced that would work because, again, I don't have free will. So at the moment, we just wake up, we're stirring the porridge, we're looking at Instagram, and then we're putting our chia seeds in. Once it's already kind of starting simmering. By the way, once it gets to the boil, you pour a little drop of milk in. 1, to add flavor. 2, to cool it down enough to where it's just simmering now, and you can turn down the heat. So now there's milk in it, there's salt in it, there's water in it, there's porridge in it, obviously, and then we're putting in a little handful of chia seeds, right? And now the porridge is starting to get into like a dynamic where it's like, all right, we're making something of flavor here. We're not just making a bowl of grey sludge, which is what porridge is, We're not doing that because that's obviously disgusting, but obviously porridge is a healthy breakfast option, so we need to somehow get this going, right? So basically the whole mission in the morning ritual of making porridge is let's make this not shit, right? Because it's good for you, but it's shit. So what we're going to do to make it not shit, we're going to put stuff in it that's bad for you. But then once that stuff's in it, it just looks like porridge again, so we're just going to ignore the fact that it's bad for you. Boom. There we go. We've gotten a healthy breakfast. We've cheated the system. God can suck my dick, right? I'm sorry. I want this. I don't challenge God. God, do not suck my cock. I didn't mean that as a challenge. I know you could if you wanted to. I know you probably don't want to. Luckily, I challenge you with something disgusting or grotesque that you would never do because you're a good man. I don't want to be disrespectful. We're not in the best mood this week. It's been a bad week. Should I curse God for that? No, I should curse myself because I'm a lazy, piece of shit. I didn't really want to dance around the subject there, but I am nothing. I'm a disgrace to myself and others. I have no drive, I have no grand strategy, and I'm kind of not too worried about that as well as the awful thing. So you get your porridge stirred up, and in the meantime, you cut up a few strawberries, you wash a few blueberries, Some people do blueberry and raspberry. The thing about blueberries and raspberries is they both taste like shit. So obviously I wouldn't put those into it normally. So what I do is I put strawberries and blueberries, and then I kind of convince myself that the slight sourness of the blueberries, which the strawberries balance out and make more flavorful, is necessary for me to think it's healthy, right? So then the porridge finishes. We stir for about 12 minutes until it gets kind of like, it's nice and homogenous. It's a nice slurry rather than just water with oats in it, right? We're getting that grey sludge, but a little bit more liquidy than that, right? A little bit more, not viscous, a little bit less viscous, I think is probably the correct term there, right? And then what you're going to do, you're going to get your bowl of porridge, you're going to put it on the counter, you're going to fucking dunk a nice a tablespoon of yogurt in there, a nice tablespoon of Greek yogurt. Then you're going to fucking dash some of that cinnamon on that shit, like Salt Bae. That's a reference that's very old and very irrelevant. Did it anyway. You want like a nice healthy fucking portion of cinnamon there. You're going to spin all that, integrate it in, get it all homogenous. The cinnamon's going to stick to the side of the bowl. That's fine. We just accept that. We just accept the loss in that situation, right? Then you're going to fucking put in a nice lump of peanut butter, smooth peanut butter, no palm oil, not that American shit, Isn't it mad that Americans eat peanut butter more than any other country and their peanut butter is the worst? That's crazy. Tough to be them. And now all the Americans that watch this show, which is zero because no one watches this show, are going to get all defensive in the comments. And, hey, just remember, I love your country. Hoorah. Semper Fi, motherfucker. You're going to get your fucking lump of peanut butter, stir that shit in. And now once that's all a nice homogenous liquid, and you want the porridge to be a little runny liquid wise, because once you put the peanut butter in, that's going to thicken it up, because the peanut butter is a nice viscous liquid. It's got depth to it. It's got strength. I'm not sure. I've never been sure if viscous means more runny or less runny. I'm not sure if something is more viscous if it's getting more kind of hard or if it's getting kind of more fluid. And that's something I'll never know, and that's okay. I'm just going to assume it's the way I think it is in my head, and I think you're all kind of going along with that, right? Oops, he dropped the microphone. Oh no, we stood way too close to the microphone there as well. Sorry about that, guys. Guys, as if anyone's listening, and that's the third time I've said that, I think. So you got your nice, bowl of porridge there. Now it's time, you integrate the strawberries and the blueberries. You want to get you want about twice as much weight in strawberries as blueberries, because again, blueberries are shit. But strawberries are full of sugar, so then you feel bad. And then you mix those in, and then once it's all kind of integrated, you're just going to give a little drizzle of honey on top of that there, right? And then you're going to eat it, and you're going to enjoy it. Then you're going to have your cup of tea. You're going to thank God every day that he made Irish breakfast tea or English breakfast tea. I don't know. Either way, it comes from India, right? Because that is the greatest beverage known to mankind. You're going to drink your fully caffeinated tea at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. You're going to have a nice, healthy bit of chocolate with that because you are addicted to sugar. And then you're going to go about your day. So all that happens, and now it's like 2 p.m. So, over the next hour, I have a shower, I get dressed, get on the bus, get to the city, and now the next 3 hours I'm just talking to these guys in this car, right? And that's okay. I enjoyed the conversation. It was fine. And it was more than fine. It was a good conversation. And I'm only worried, and I'm only saying that because I know that they're the only two people who listen to this or even might listen to it. So I'm going to say it was a pretty good conversation for their sake. You're welcome, guys. No, I actually really enjoyed it. Not a lot of it was about me, which was a bit, but I guess other people are important too. Cuckoo. So obviously when I'm locked in on doing this whole porridge thing, I can't be recording a podcast because what if the porridge gets a bit too stiff? So now I'm going to fucking Mullingar for 3 hours, and we get there, we do the show, all goes down well, see a couple of baddies, do I interact with them beyond any further pleasantries than just being a nice man? No. Because, we're in Mullingar, I'm not spreading my seed in the north of Ireland. That's insane. And spreading my seed is the wrong word. I respect women. That's a horrible thing to say. But yeah, we have the show. We get on we do the show, and then we get back in the car, and now we're going back to Cork again. I think we leave Mullingar at about 11:30, right? So then I don't get back at 5 a.m. Don't know how that happens. The timelines aren't really adding up there. Should I have said I lived where I lived? I'm going to cut that out, maybe. No, I won't. I will. Where was that? I'm going to mark that, and then we're going to cut that out. Yeah. I just said the location of where I live, and then I marked it and cut it out. So fuck all you guys. Where was I? So somehow I ended up going to sleep that night at 5 a.m. And now, obviously, I'm fucked. Because now my sleep schedule is just rattled. So the next day I wake up, Friday night, do some gigs. I went to Mullingar on the Friday. Oh, I'm a liar. Oh, I'm full of shit. Oh my God, I went to Mullingar on the Friday. Oh no. Now I feel less bad because now it's been less than a week since my life went off the rails, which means that if I get it under control by tomorrow morning, I can at least say it wasn't a week that I was off the rails for, right? So I could have just recorded the podcast on Thursday, and the only reason I didn't do that was because I was a lazy bitch. Oh no. Oh wow. So anyway, it actually has been going on longer than you thought because I was lazy. I was a lazy piece of shit back then, and I never recorded it, and now I feel bad. Okay. All right, guys. Yeah, that's what we've kind of locked in on that there. All right. So okay, that's something of interest, you know. It's only been 6 days since I decided to be lazy, but plot twist, I've been lazy internally since I was a child, which was what happened on the Thursday. Okay, so basically, long story short, I get back to my home, which is an unnamed location. Several hours later, at 5 in the morning. So now my week is fucked. You know, the Saturday I stay out late again, and then I don't end up getting to sleep until about 4 a.m. The Sunday, I'm waking up at like noon. On the Sunday, I gotta be honest with you guys, I was tired. All right, and I ignored it. All right, I did my gigs. They didn't go great on the Sunday. That's fine. And then I ignored my tiredness. I stayed out late again. You know, I had some commitments with some buddies. You know, I had to stay out, get a few beers. You know. That kind of thing. Sometimes you make a promise and then you realize you have to keep the promise, and then it's a pain in the ass because you wish you hadn't promised it. But you're a man of your word sometimes. You know, when it's politically in your interest, you're a man of your word, and when it's not, you're a liar. You know, you're very much an Oswald Cobblepot kind of person, but not as talented or as charismatic. Well, not charismatic, not as talented or as charming, right? Let's say that. So the Sunday, stayed up late again. Monday, woke up. Now the tiredness can't be ignored, right? Woke up way afternoon. Woke up at like 1, which isn't way afternoon. It's 1 hour afternoon. But 1 o'clock isn't the time that's acceptable to be waking up at, right? That's just not like, it's not COVID. It's not COVID anymore. We don't wake up at 1 o'clock in the afternoon anymore, right? We have our lives in order. And I don't, but I should. And I realized Monday is just chalked, right? I have no intention of getting up, doing any writing, doing any work on my set, doing any exercise physically, making any food. You know, I'm going to make my porridge, you know, out of a certain sense of tradition and obligation, but that's it. That's all I'm doing. You know, and I make my porridge and I realize there's no strawberries and blueberries left because they're not fresh anymore, and I don't want to go to the shop because I'm very tired, so I just put banana in my porridge, and it's a little bit worse than normal, but it's fine. But also it puts me on the wrong mindset for the whole day, which is already not great because I already realized, I'm going to be way lazier than I've ever been in my entire life, right? So Monday was just a complete shambles. But the strategic move I took on the Monday, the lie I told myself was that, okay, I will take this Monday as a day of rest. I will take it as a day of rest, and I will gather myself. I will gather my energy, and then tomorrow, Tuesday, we'll pick it back up. Boom, boom, boom. We'll get at the day full of energy, ready to go, full of life. We'll take it all on, you know? So I give myself just a nice bit of rest on Monday. I just spud out on the sofa, you know, looking at TikTok on my phone, got the TV on in the background, started The Penguin. That was when I watched the first episode of The Penguin. I think maybe it was the night before. No, it wasn't, because I wasn't at home. Yeah, it was that Monday I started The Penguin, watched the first episode, did a lot of TikTok brain rot on my phone, you know, I think I looked at Instagram Reels for about 2 hours, couldn't tell you one thing I looked at, because you never can, because it's never any memorable content. You know, there's some recoil centric central content. You know, there's probably something that, you know, in a few months someone will say something and it'll go, oh, I remember I watched an Instagram reel about that, but I won't be able to remember the specific day or the context. I'll just remember the content. And it was probably one reel in 1,000. So, and I'm supposed to think that meant that they were all worth watching. No, they weren't. So yeah, that's a really wasteful thing that I do all the time. But it's everyone in my generation does it, so it's fine, right? No, it's not fine, Aaron. Get your fucking shit together. And that's what kind of this whole episode of the podcast is just me telling myself to get my shit together. And explaining why I didn't have my shit together. I guess reflecting on the week is like a good idea, right? You know, I guess that's a good thing to do. Maybe I should write a journal. I do. Don't write in it enough. Write in it like once a month when I'm sad. And then I think that like is like a hack for like, I guess, therapy. I don't know. I'm not doing therapy, you know. And well, because the thing about me, right, is like, so long story short, Monday we have the day of rest. Guess what? Tuesday, another day of rest. Another day of rest. Wednesday, another day of rest, right? Wednesday, we just spend the whole day watching The Penguin, right? So we don't get anything done for these 3 days. And the thing about me is that I just don't have any ambition. And that's something I've realized, you know, I am the standard issue model of a decadent Western citizen, you know? Because one of the things I always think is that, like, all right, look, sure, I could work really hard and make my life better, right? That's, I think, you know, kind of like the Western dream, right? Is you work hard, you get your life better than it was when you started. But when you start off and your life is fine, it's like, why bother? You know, like, it's like, I could work very, very hard and what would I get? Like a slightly nicer house? I'm not a person who minds living in like not a very nice house, you know, and I actually live in quite a nice house at the moment. I'm lucky to live in one. But, you know, in theory, long term, I could live somewhere that isn't nice at all, right? And I think I'd be fine with that, right? Like, I have no drive to make my life better than it is, because my life is fine, you know? Like there's so many people out there that are like, oh, I don't want to work this shitty job, you know, I really want to make something of myself, I really want to get out there. Not me, you know? I don't care. It's fine. It's the way things are grand, you know? Do I like my job? Not really. Would I do it every day until I'm 65? Probably. Like, I wouldn't care that much. It wouldn't be that deep. It would be okay. It would be fine. I wouldn't mind. I'd get along with it, you know? If, like, because, you know, I'm doing the comedy right now. If the comedy doesn't work out, like, that's okay. Like, for me, that's grand. I mean, financially, it'll be devastating because I'm hedging a lot of bets on it right at the moment. But other than that, and I'm doing that on purpose because I think that'll make me more ambitious towards it when my finances get worse. Then I'll be like, oh, now the comedy has to work out. I'll really work really hard on it. And then like, I'll become one of those people who's like, all right, well, you know, because like if I have to make the comedy thing work, I will. But if I don't have to, I just won't, because I'm not just. It's not that I'm not that invested in it. Like, I love it more than anything, but I'm just not that invested in existing. Like, because I've already hit the jackpot. I was born in Western civilization in the 21st century. Like, and now I was born after 9/11, which isn't great. Like, if I was born in the 90s, would that be a bit better? Maybe, yeah. But like, I'm in a good spot in history. You know, things are great for me. Like, there's never been a better time to be in the West. And there's never been a better time to be on Earth, right? In the Northern Hemisphere, right? So that's really great. Like, one of the great problems of human beings is that we're never satisfied. And as someone who has always been satisfied, let me tell you, I wish I was more never satisfied, because those people are making moves, you know? Those people wouldn't have let those 3 days go to waste. They would have gotten up and done something. But I was just like, oh yeah, but it's okay. You know, I'm letting God down, you know? God didn't put me on this earth to waste away and do nothing. He put me on this earth to achieve something, do something great, you know? To you know, weave a thread in the grand tapestry that is his magnificent creation. But here I am sitting there watching The Penguin. And I'd watch The Penguin again because it was really good. And that was the worst example, because that was the only thing that I did this week that I was happy I did. The rest of it, the sitting around, the doing fuck all, the making frozen chicken tenders for dinner instead of making those delicious steaks I bought. Like, but because it would have taken time, and I would have had to re-season the cast iron after I was done, and then I would have to chop up the garlic, and then I would have had to change the bin bag because the bin was kind of full, and then I avoided doing all of that because I was a lazy, disgusting piece of shit, and I'm a disappointment to our Lord, and I'm bizarrely I'm giving myself a hard time here. I'm a man who has no problem giving myself a hard time. I'm aware that I am the worst, just, scum and villainy that this world has ever seen when it comes to this kind of thing. But none of it motivates. None of it makes me want to be better. I can really put myself into the mindset that I'm not good enough and I need to be doing more. But I'll never actually do more. And that's not great. And I look. Over the course of the last 5 or 6 years, I have done more. I have improved, but not at a rate that's in any way acceptable. Now it's I do stuff with my time. I started doing the old stand-up comedy. I do this podcast now. I read a little bit more, but all in all, I'm operating at a very low level of efficiency with the hours in my day. You know what I mean? Let's say I sleep for about 10 of them, which is too many, and then with the other 14. It's let's say I get 6 of them towards something productive, and then 8 of them are just kind of wasted, and it used to be that all 14 of them were wasted. So I have improved, but it's not good enough, and the worst part is that the reason I haven't improved because I just don't want to, I don't have that I don't have that desire in my soul to be a better man. I'm just a waste of a mortal life, and that's harsh, but that's true as well. Look, maybe I'll do better. Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I should do better, or maybe I won't, that's the more likely scenario, Everyone always says you'll watch a fucking Andrew Tate video or whatever, and he'll be you're a fucking piece of shit. No one will ever love you. You're not good enough. You need to be fucking. This is more David Goggins, right? You need to be giving 110%. Or no one's ever gonna accept you. No one's ever gonna like you. You're a fucking piece of shit. No, everyone hates you in your life. You need to do something to make yourself worthwhile. And I feel like there are people who hear that and they go, yeah, and it's well, look, I am a piece of shit, but people do like me, maybe if I got I feel like a lot of these guys, they watch these videos and they get this idea of how they could better their lives. And I think a lot of it is because they just don't get bitches. And not to say that I do, and not bitches women, because I'm nice. They don't, they're not very good with women, and people in their lives don't respect them. And they're just if I work really hard and make myself better, that'll happen. And that is true, that does happen. But the thing about me is that I already have that, and that's not to say that I get loads of women. I don't, but I get enough that I'm kind of this is enough, I don't have any trouble with girls really. I wouldn't say I'm Casanova or anything, I wouldn't say that I'm very charismatic or charming, but I've had sex, because one of the things I was comparing myself to recently was, when I look at how sad my life is right now, in the sense of me not doing anything with it, is that, I share a birthday, if you adjust for the Gregorian calendar, I share a birthday with the greatest scientific mind in all of human history, Sir Isaac Newton. And by the time Isaac Newton was my age, he had invented calculus, he had discovered the laws of motion, the law of universal gravitation, the laws of optics. He had drank liquid mercury and been oh, that was a bad idea. People shouldn't do that. He'd done a lot of shit. By the time he was my age, he'd done more shit by the time he was my age than many people have done with their entire lives. And then it's that makes you feel really bad about yourself. And then you go, yeah, but I've had sex. He didn't do that. Not even once, and I don't mean he didn't do that by the time he was this age. I mean, he didn't do that ever. So in certain respects, I'm already far more successful than him, and then when you look at it like that, you're just oh, why would I try, because no one liked being around Isaac Newton, I won't say people love being around me, but I have a few buddies, we get a beer, I'm trying to, I'm not saying I'm the greatest guy ever, I'm not, but I'm kind of if things are fine for me, right? Like there are people who will talk to me on a daily basis. Like they do exist, and there are people who for some reason are just like, yeah, I like Garen. You know, he's a good hang. You know, and would I like to be better to those people? Sure, but like, and at a certain level, it's already good enough. You know, it's like why fix what isn't broken? You know, like none of this is good enough. You know, these are the ramblings of a man who's really given up. But like it's like giving up is bad when giving up would result in disastrous consequences. But when giving up results in things being fine, it's like give up. You know, like why fight harder when you already have central heating? You know, like if you don't have central heating, fight harder. But if you do, it's like you've done your part, really, you know, like, and you haven't done your part, but someone has done their part and it's benefited you. And now it's like, why would you fucking go out of your way to be better, right? And it's like, well, look, I mean, obviously you have a certain obligation to mankind, but you know, like I'm sure mankind will be fine, you know. As I was saying last week, things tend to just work out for human beings, like universally, unilaterally across time. Things always just seem to go well. So yeah, that's where we're kind of at with all of that. And now, do I need to become a better person? Probably. You know, will it one day be my greatest regret that I didn't live up to my potential? Yes. You know, have I been aware of that the entire time? Yes. Will it make me change? No. Why? Oops. Hit the microphone. Won't cut that out. But like, you know, because I know what I should do, I just won't do it. You know, I know I need to work harder. I know I need to be better, and I want to do all of those things, but I won't. So where does that leave us? You know, this is a depressing episode. You know, but we've got a lot more truth out of your host here than we've ever gotten out of him before, you know? Do I need to read my Bible a little bit more? Do I need to start working harder? Yes. What if I made some promises about what I'm going to do over the course of the next week? What if we use this podcast as a way to make me be a better person? You know, I'll make promises of what I'm going to get done in the following week. And then next week I'll check in with you. And then you'll be like, you know, the 0 people who are listening to this will be like, oh, fucking Aaron, did you do that shit we told you to do? You know, like the voices in a schizophrenic person's head. And I'll be like, oh, fucking, I got none of them done this week. And I'll be like, well, none of us respect you. We all hate you. And I'll be like, oh, now that makes me feel something. Now next week I'll feel much more motivated to actually do things. And then the next week I'll do things. And then I'll tell you I did things. And you'll be like, oh, good enough, you know? Because I rely so much on the approval of others. But like, you know, I reached a point a few years ago where I kind of generally had it from enough people that it was okay, so I gave up. And I'm a big man for resting on his laurels, you know? Like, people look down on resting on your laurels, but if you've got laurels, what else are you going to do with them? You know, why have laurels if not to rest on them? And I don't have many laurels. I just have the laurels of being born in a relatively rich per capita country. So yeah. And you know, it's like, not everyone can be a great person, you know? Like, you know, you look at Instagram and you see all these people like doing great things, like David Goggins and I don't know, that's, you know, like Joe Rogan. You know, he's a guy who works hard, I guess, right? He works really hard, you know. He got like he's got the podcast there, doing better than this one by you know, some margins, right? And then you got, you know, great people like, I don't know, who's great people, you know, like Usain Bolt, you know, who worked hard and he became the fastest man alive, but not in a flash way, but like in a way that like he's like very slightly faster than the average person, you know, and like that's very impressive actually. And I don't mean to diminish that achievement because it is very impressive, but again, like, you know, bullets still hit him. So, you know, like how fast is he really? And like you see all these great people and it's like not everyone's meant to be great, you know? Like, some people are just meant to be normal people, you know, and that's okay, you know, like, and like, you know, I'm not going to get into like, I mean, obviously, like, you know, I think as a society, we very much disregard people who do like normal jobs and like honorable career paths. And like, you know, we don't hold like, you know, the working man in high esteem, even though that's a perfectly honorable way to live your life. And I think universally people would agree with that. What people aren't going to agree with is the thing that I'm about to say, which is that like, And why should I even try to be great? Because there's great people, you know, there need to be not great people as well, because then the great people look good in contrast to them. You know, maybe that's the type of person I am, is the type of person who isn't great. But then you look at me and then you look at other people around me and you go, oh, wow, what makes them great is all the ways that they're better than Aaron. And I'm perfectly happy to be that person, actually. You know, like, I think a lot of people would hate to be that. And you know, but then the thing about most people is that they end up as that anyway, you poor fuckers. But like, if I'm just there and I'm okay with being that person, maybe that's a good way to be. Maybe that's an acceptable role to have in society, is just being kind of middle of the road, you know, right at the peak of the bell curve there, just bang on, average normal person, you know, didn't achieve anything great, didn't suffer tremendously either though, kind of just got by in life, reproduced, secured the genetic lineage, got what he needed, you know, got in and got out of Earth, no problems, no hesitation, kept his hands clean, you know, didn't make too much of a show of himself, you know? Why shouldn't I just be that, you know? Because God wants me to be more. Oh, fuck, I let down God. Oh, no. You know, God wants me to do my best, you know? And like, even, like, being great doesn't mean being remembered, right? It doesn't mean having everyone know your name, you know? It just means doing the best you can do, you know? And then I guess that is something you should probably do, you know? Because there's plenty of great people out there right now. They're going nameless, you know? I'm not one of them. But there's plenty of people who are like, a man who's just like, you know, he's got 3 kids and he's got a wife and like, you know, his job doesn't pay the best, but he's fucking hitting it as hard as he can at work every day. He comes home, he doesn't overwork himself at the office, you know, he works the hours he's supposed to. He comes home tired and he still fucking plays with his kids and he does his best because he fucking loves them and he wants to make a great life for them, you know. There's people out there like that, you know, those people, and those are the really actually great people, right? Not fucking, you know, Justin Baldoni, right, with his fucking, you know, like talking about Blake Lively's boob, you know, on the voice message, you know, and like, is he a good actor? Probably, but like, is he a great man? I mean, maybe he also is actually, you know, like maybe he just had he had a lapsed moment of judgment, you know, like who might have criticized him actually. That was the worst example to go to. But, you know, a great man isn't fucking like, I mean, I guess, what's his name is pretty cool. That guy who does the running, who has no knee collagen, but just still does it anyway. We were talking about him just 10 seconds ago. What was his name? Not Joe Rogan, the other guy, you know, tall gentleman, former Navy SEAL Marine guy. What's that guy's name? Oh my God, I've been talking about him like for a long time in this. David Goggins, right? Like, you know, David Goggins isn't because he does seem like a great guy. But like, you know, you look up to someone like Will Smith and people say Will Smith is a great man, you know, and like he's achieved a lot, but like, you know, fuck it, you know, he's doing his best. Like, who's okay? Like, who's a guy I'm willing to shit on, right? You know, like who people are like, you know, people like Adolf Hitler, right? And we're going with an extreme example here, right? You know, no, we can't. No, Lord Voldemort, right? You know, in the first Harry Potter, when John Hurt is like, you know, Voldemort was a great wizard, terrible but great. Like, Voldemort was great, right? But he wasn't good. You know, and that was what I was going to say about Hitler, just to clarify. I wasn't going to go down some other road. But then, like, you know, calling Hitler great doesn't look too great. So we avoided that, and we dodged that bullet fairly well, and we've kind of fucking, you know, Neo in the Matrix, boom, 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 we're clear on the other side. No consequences to come of that. Good. You know, like, there's people who, like, you know, there's people who are well known in society as great industrymen, like Alexander the Great. There we go. Now I'm fucking hitting them. Alexander the Great or Julius Caesar, who are like, oh my God, they achieved all these things with their life. And then it's like, yeah, but like, you know, the greatness of the common man is far greater, you know, because like Alexander the Great, you know, like he died before he got to raise his son to be a good man, you know what I mean? Like Julius Caesar, he he died betrayed by his friend. He achieved a lot, but he died betrayed by his friends. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't a great member of his community. You know, he was a great statesman. He was a great countryman, but in his local circle, you know, he was letting people down. It's like be great on that small scale, right? Be great in the context of your household and your family, and do everything for them. You know, and in that sense, I am even more of a waste of fucking space and a shitty person. And it's like, you know, if you do that, if you really try your best there and do your best in God's great tapestry, you know, maybe that's enough, you know, maybe that's good enough, you know, maybe like if you really do your best, then that's true greatness, is just trying your hardest, is what I'm kind of getting at there. And people and that doesn't need to come out in notoriety or fame, because those are frivolous endeavors, you know, they're not, you know, they're not part of the glory of God's creation, you know, they're that shit that Lucy, my boy Lucifer there, that's that shit he was on, you know what I mean? That shit, you don't need that shit. Or maybe you do. I'm like, you know, I don't want to get into it, but hedonism can be fun as well, actually. Which is kind of the big balls of it in a way, you know. That's kind of like one of these things we've been debating about for centuries, is that, yeah, like, you know, aligning yourself with God and becoming a great person is good. Fucking ripping a ciggy, doing a line, I've never done a line, but I'm assuming those are all great things as well, you know, just, you know, getting out there, you know, having a few pints with the lads, you know, just a hedonistic indulgence. Those are grand too, actually. They feel great. Which is the part, like, you know, I mean, I guess we do give the devil his credit, but, you know, that's one of the things. It's like, all right, you know, we've been a little bit ignorant of the devil there, right? What was I going on about? Yeah, so I want to be a better man, right? And not like a lot better, but better enough. Better enough to where it's like, okay, he's grand. And I actually kind of don't, you know. I tell myself I want that, because if I convince myself I want that, I might actually achieve something. But as far as things are concerned right now, like, you know, I wasted the past 7 days. And sorry, not the past 7 days. I've wasted every day since Monday, basically. And do I feel like a crippling sense of, like, shittiness? Yeah, but I also know that, like, next week I won't even care. So no, we'll try. We'll try harder. We'll try harder. Or maybe we won't. I'm gonna give it a shot. You know, like I'm gonna. Hey, look, hey, I'll do it for you. And I'll do it for, I guess, my future kids, right? That's you know, that's something, you know. Maybe, like, if I planned out my life a little bit more, you know. I was thinking about making, like, a 5-year plan, you know. That just sounds kind of cringe when you say it that way. No, I'm not going to make a 5-year plan. What if I'm going to conduct my grand strategy? There we go. That's the thing I do a lot, is I'll trick myself into doing things by just making them sound way cooler than they are. You know, that's a good example. You know, a 5-year plan, that's a bit, but grand strategy, now it's like, okay, we're getting somewhere. Now it's like I'm doing something important, right? You know, like I'll need to figure out how to do that with the gym, you know, like, I'm just going to the gym to exercise. Like, oh no, I'm like, like, you know, what's a class way of referring to the gym that would make me want to do it? That'll be like kind of my mission for the week, I think, right? I could call it like, freaking, you know, bringing forth my divine form. There we go. That's it. You know, like, I need to go to the gym to call forth my divine physical attributes. There we go. Now I'll go to the gym, right? And I'll become a great man. And I'll do right by my family. I'll do right by the people around me for selfish reasons. But, you know, the thing about being selfish is that if you're selfish in the long term, you're kind of selfless, because what's good for the goose is good for the gander, huh? You know? Like, what's good for me is good for everyone else if I really know what's good for me, you know? Not like selfishly indulgent, but like selfishly wholesome, right? I think we've kind of cracked the code on life there. And this has been an episode where I've talked a lot about life, you know? I don't really know how to wrap it up, because I guess the thing about life is we're all kind of figuring it out as we go. And then the thing about the people who figured it out is usually they're dead, which is a balls, you know? Because none of the old people who are alive know what the fuck is going on, you know? Like, I don't know, like, you know, because one of the things I want to do is I want to respect old people more, you know, and I want to give them more time to talk. And I do. And then like they talk and you're just like, I thought you were supposed to like have all this wisdom and shit. You know, and not to discredit them, because like they're about as interesting as your average person, but you're just kind of like, if you've been alive this long, man, I feel like you should have something more interesting to say. Like that's disrespectful, I know, but like it is true. Like there's a reason we all talk about how we should respect old people, but none of us actually like interact with them at all. It's because they're fucking annoying and boring. Like, you know, like it's like, you know, it's like, you're 80, right? Like you should have a lot more interesting things to say. And it's like, yeah, but like you also should be dead. And maybe the reason you're not dead is because God doesn't want you back. Maybe the reason you're not dead is because God is taking all the chill people, and then people like you, he's just like, let's just keep having vibing for a couple more years before we get that fucking piece of shit up here for eternity, right? And maybe that's happening as well, you know, because like, you know, they should have so much wisdom, but like you talk to them and they're just like, yeah, like I used to go down to this pub. I've been coming to this pub for 40 years. Yeah, and you know, when I was down here before, Mickey O'Halloran used to come in here, right? And he'd come in and we played darts, and I tell you, he was the best at darts you'd ever seen. And one night I played darts and I beat him, and they said, by golly, you just beat Mickey O'Flannery in darts. And you're just like, oh really? And he goes, yeah. Did I ever tell you about the Mickey O'Flannery in darts? Because we used to play that here. And you're just like, oh, fuck me, Jesus Christ. And this is like an old guy who doesn't even have dementia. He just, that's his only story. That's the only thing that ever fucking happened to him. And it's not the only thing that ever happened to him. So much interesting stuff happened to him. But like, I guess, you know, you're not just going to share that with a stranger. But like, the thing about old people is they always talk so monotone. Like, they can be saying something very interesting, but they're just not going to say it in an interesting way, because talking takes effort, and you probably don't realize how much effort it takes until you have less energy than the effort it takes to talk. And then you're just sitting there going, well, I wake up in the morning and I make my breakfast, and I make my bowl of porridge, and I put a bit of salt into the bowl of porridge, and then I put the chia seeds in, and then while I'm doing that, I'm stirring it, and then I'm chopping up my strawberries as well. And what I do is I chop up a few blueberries and I put them into the porridge at the end with some bit of the yogurt and the peanut butter. And then when I'm done that, I go over to my table and I eat the porridge, and I eat all the porridge, and then I say, you know what? I deserve a treat there now. I deserve a cup of fucking tea. I'm going to make myself a cup of tea there now, alright? That's what I'm going to do, right? And then I have a cup of tea and I say, Jesus, you know what? I've been very good the last 40 years now. I think I'm going to have a bit of chocolate with my tea as a bit of a sweet tooth thing, you know? And sure, if I get diabetes now, sure, it's only the next thing I'd have, because, you know, my knee often hurts there now quite a bit, you know? My hips, you know? Did you know I had a hip surgery there last year? Yeah, I had a hip surgery there, and the doctor said my hips are gone very bad, and he said that I'm going to have to use this walking stick there now for the rest of my life. And once I heard that from him, then I said, no, I'm gonna walk on my own. I can walk on my own, I said. But sure, I went out to the hospital and I couldn't walk on my own, so now I have the walking stick. So now I use the walking stick to walk everywhere. That's why I have this walking stick. I need to use the toilet. Oh, yeah. So, like, you can ask me how my day was, or... No, you don't give a fuck. Yeah, grand. And that's what it's like. You know, they're not very reciprocal. You know, why would they be? You know, they're... Oh, fuck. Okay, I'm gonna have to just fucking... Alright, if you're listening on the audio-only version of this, it just cut out there because I pressed the escape key and that stops the recording. You only missed like a second of footage and it's fine. Plus I'm gonna have to edit this to fucking beep out when I said where I lived there, and I don't think that actually matters, but I'm gonna do it anyway. But now I'm gonna have to fucking edit these things together. That's gonna be a fucking pain in the ass. Now I've made a whole balls of the podcast, and I only had fucking 7 minutes left before we got to the hour. Like, I feel like I kind of want to ping topics, but we're almost at the hour and I've kind of talked about the same thing the whole time. So we're just going to keep talking about how I've wasted my life and continue to do so. You know, like, I don't want to be... Because I feel like right now when you're young, obviously you don't have infinite time, but it kind of feels like you do. You know, like, it feels like you're going to live forever when you're 24, right? But you're not, you know? death is coming, and it's faster than you think, you know? Like, what do all old people say? They say, Jesus, life is so short. And you're just like, your life has clearly been very long. But the fact that you're saying that must mean that it must get fucking intense, right? So we don't want to make a balls of it in that regard, right? So yeah, like, all right, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do going forward, guys? How are we gonna make all this work? I haven't a fucking clue, actually. You know, I guess like just kind of working a little bit harder in my day-to-day life. You know, like making a bit more of an effort. I think waking up earlier. Like, let's kind of aim for 9 a.m. You know, let's aim for 9:30 a.m. We're gonna aim for I'm starting small just so I know I can do it. We're gonna aim for 9:30 a.m. pretty much every day next week, right? And we're gonna get about 4. And that's gonna be more than I thought I could get, and that's gonna be fine. All right. So that's gonna be what we're gonna do next week. I'm gonna try to do more writing. I keep kicking a paper bag in front of my desk. The audio is probably picking that up, and that probably sounds really shit. That's what that's been the whole time, guys, just in case you're wondering. I was sitting quite far away from the microphone there for a second as well, so that's probably bad. You know, he's still working it all out. Put a fist away from the microphone like Joe Rogan does when he does the cocksucky thing. And that's what we're gonna do. You know, at least I'm doing the podcast, right? You know, I gotta be honest there, guys. On Wednesday night, it was looking like I was gonna be giving up on the podcast there for a second. I'm not giving up, but like I was kind of like, fuck it, I'll just skip an episode, you know. But that would have become a habit. And then, you know, there would have been very inconsistent episodes, and you're never going to succeed with that. So look, it's lucky that we got it back under wraps. It's lucky we got it back under control, right? And in a way, we didn't. In a way, you know, it wasn't good enough, because doing one fucking podcast, talking to yourself for 1 hour a week, it's hard in the moment, but as far as the scheduling thing goes, it's a very easy thing to organize. It's something I should be getting done a lot more often, you know? Right. How do I talk about life for 5 more minutes so that we don't talk about another topic and then give thematic cohesion to the whole episode? That's going to be a pain in the ass, right? I guess it could just be a little bit shorter, you know? And then the fact that it's all on one theme is kind of nice, and it's a short and sweet one, you know? That's kind of cute. But then I do like them to be an hour as well, just because I feel like that holds myself to a certain standard. And now, cutting this one together is going to be such a fucking pain in the ass, you know? Why did I have to fucking do it right at the end? Like, right at the fucking end. Can nothing go my fucking way? You know, and that's, you know, maybe all this shit, maybe all my, you know, struggles with greatness and struggles with doing the right thing. Maybe actually it's the fucking world's fault, right? Maybe God should have thrown me a great challenge, you know? Maybe everyone else isn't good enough and I'm actually doing fine. Maybe everything should be fucking handed to me on a silver platter. Maybe my life goals and the path towards them should just be spelled out for me plain as day, so that I can follow the instructions and just do it. Because I can follow instructions. I can follow instructions all the damn day long. If someone tells me to do something, I'll do it. Like, if I just had a boss, you know, not like a boss at work, but like just a boss for my life. Like, someone to just tell me, oh, like, Aaron, do great things, you know? And that wouldn't be good enough. They'd have to be very specific in the instructions. They'd have to be like, here's the specific instructions you need to do, Aaron, to do these great things. I'd be like, okay, well, you told me to do them, so I just will. Like, that's what I need, you know? I guess that's a dad. But I have a dad, and he's great. Like, I'm not really a guy with father issues. Like, he's sound out, like, you know what I mean? You know, but I'm not having fucking Jordan Peterson telling me like fucking like, oh, fucking clean your bedroom. It's like, it's clean. The bed is beautiful, you know? And like, that's good advice actually. But like, what's fucking step 2? All right. What's step 2 of the master plan? Because step 1 did help a lot with the cleaning the bed. And look, it has made a difference. The room is nicer now, but it's like, what the fuck, where the fuck do we go from here? Because that hasn't been enough. And it has, in a way, you know, it's, you know, like cleaning the bed, that's a good thing to do. It's like, there's other things that need getting done. That takes like 10 seconds at the start of the day. So what am I going to fill the rest of my day with, you know? Like, someone just fucking tell me how to just do life properly, you know? And again, that's what I was saying earlier. It should be the old people. They're too busy being fucking boring, you know? And all the interesting ones, guess what? Dead in the ground, in the dirt, you know? And worse still, is when those good old people, when those sound cunts, when they're still around, when they're alive, they're telling us all how to live our lives. Guess what? We ignore them. I ignored all the smart people who told me how to live my life. And now I can't remember what the fuck they said, and they're all in the fucking dirt. That's the great tragedy of life, you know, is that we all just like spend our whole lives learning lessons that a almost dead person could have fucking gotten through in an hour. Like if you just listened, like, and sometimes the adults, look, let's not get this twisted. Sometimes adults are wrong, but like there's a lot of shit that like adults just say, and it's like, yeah, if you just listen to that, it will probably be like things will probably work out really well, actually, you know. And I'm aware that that's something that, you know, humans are painfully aware of, and I'm aware that that's not a unique observation I'm making. He's losing the run of himself now, you know. He doesn't know, he's having a bit of a crisis of identity. You know, he's referring to himself in third person because he's fucking mental. Oh my God, what have I done? Any second now. I tell you what, baby, huh? 15 more seconds, huh? Quick maths there, boys, huh? What was I even just saying? Dementia. Oh, shouldn't have made fun of old people. God just gave me dementia. Shit. Oh, sorry, old people. You're actually very interesting with your stories about your hip. It's grand, you know. Oh, I'm sure Paula does do the shopping for you on a fucking Thursday because she's a very nice young woman. Guess what? I'll never be as nice as her. I'm a fucking shitty human being. Is that what you wanted to hear? Is that what you wanted to hear, you sick old fuck? You know, that I'm a piece of shit and that I need you and that I need your advice. What advice? You know, you just lived a life like anyone else, you know? And that's kind of actually a very noble thing to do that we're all participating in. So I'm sorry I made fun of that. Yeah, you know, hey, I can be self-reflective too. Hey, you know, I'm not just a dickhead. You know, I feel too guilty about things, and it kind of comes at the expense of the comedic levity of this podcast. Because sometimes I want to just fucking complain about people, but then sometimes I feel bad because I know everyone's out there, well, not doing their best. Because, you know, a lot of people are like me; they're not doing their best; they're just kind of existing. But you know, I know that just the act of existing in and of itself is kind of a fucking pain in the ass, guys. You know, and like, I think we all need to be on that, you know, even in like this very nice Western world that we live in where everything is handed to us, that's almost worse. And yes, I did just say that unironically. Yes, I did just say that our lives are harder than the people who suffered for eons to make the world a better place. Because now that it's better, it's fucking boring. Cover that in the last episode. No need to be going back over the same topic again. Also fundamentally untrue, you know, but then also you can't compare the suffering of one group of people to the suffering of the others because that's just kind of indecent and you shouldn't be doing that. And then, you know, that's just you know, a spiral to the bottom. So let's just abandon that whole line of thinking and reasoning completely, and we'll just, you know, forgive everyone involved who was only me. That's what we're doing. So yeah, I'm going to be a better person. I didn't mean to do the wink. Sorry. I will be a better person. So I will. I'm actually going to go out of my way this week to do something to kind of make the world a little bit of a better place and to improve myself as a character. I will. I'm going to. I'm going to do it. I will. I promise. I swear. I swear to God I'll do it. I swear to God that I'm going to become a better person this week. I will. It'll be good. It'll be fine. Why wouldn't I? Why would I lie? Why would I lie about that? I don't owe you people anything. Like, you know, why would I say something and not do it? I will. It's hard, you know, it's a hard thing to do. Like being a better person, you know, it's a hard thing to, but I'll try. I will. Why wouldn't I? I will. I'll try. I'll do my best. I'll give it a shot. I won't.